We're going live. And we're live. We're not going, we are.
Good morning.
And I'd like to introduce, I don't know what the results were, but I'd like to thank the winner of the quiz match. Were you the winner? Were you the winner?
No, I got my butt kicked.
Really? It was the fix in. It was
no, but they were. Be honest, some of them were really difficult questions.
All right, the loser of the match.
No,
let the conclaves continue.
Yeah, no orange smoke yet, huh?
No.
It was like 17 to 11, 18 to 11.
Yeah, but they were down by way more. They were coming back in the fourth.
It was between the Filipino one and the Italian one. Am I right or wrong? Harry, that cup, if you were to buy that right now, $85 with Chinese tariffs.
Flippers have tons of them. Bought them up from.
When is there going to be a Jewish pope? Come on.
There was.
I think the Christ is not the Son of God is a deal breaker. For
Sal Rabinowitz is our next pope.
I think that might be the deal breaker, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what about the Jews for Jesus?
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, but they're not really Jews. And I submitted my LinkedIn profile to the Vatican, but I don't think they even looked at it.
So what happened now? You killed something, Jim?
There was a murder in the backyard.
So, okay, if you were usual suspect style to line Jim's dogs up for someone to pick the murderer, the least likely of them killed something.
Yeah. But no, he's a wire-haired terrier.
I know, but he looks like he couldn't
terriers
kill
can
anything.
be vicious.
Yeah, he looks like
he's wired with those dogs.
Just to look at his face, like when you look at him, he doesn't look like anything that would kill anything.
He looks Scottish.
He doesn't look like he has it in him. But
who did he kill?
There were like hundreds of baby ground squirrels all over my backyard. Not hundreds, but at least 4. Literally, and they were like, they didn't give a shit.
4.
They didn't care.
Are you going to invite Rob to the barbecue this weekend?
Isn't the theory that why they have so many babies is some of them aren't going to survive, right?
Yeah, I was thinking spring is a time of renewal.
Elliot's already got the recipes going.
A time to be born, a time to die.
Can we make an agreement that before you decide to say something stupid, take a deep breath, because chances are someone else is talking. Harry. That's probably why you lost.
That's the story of the murder.
What question was Harry's downfall? Like, what question did Harry get wrong that led him to lose horribly?
Well, there was one question I got wrong because I heard it differently. I didn't hear it completely.
Yeah, the way it was worded.
The way it was worded. But it was my fault because I listened to the first half and not the second half, so I got it wrong.
Did she come up with good questions?
Yeah, I thought so. Some were easy, some were difficult.
A lot of the questions came from this book.
Actually, there are about two questions that could have been answered in that book.
Yeah.
Here's what your problem is. You should have done a follow-up. You should have done a follow-up video where you discussed how horribly you performed.
Well, he was acting like the man I can't, the guy we can't talk about on your channel that always complains about the interviewer and the questions. You're a sick person. Harry was like that. He was blaming the interviewer.
Hold on. You can talk about anything you want, but I don't feel like people come here.
Yeah,
I would like this to be a place where people come here.
Exactly. Well, that's why I'm saying that. Yeah, he was saying like those are you're a nasty person, Rachel. Those are nasty questions.
Well, now hold on. Let me just.
How'd you get in here?
Let me ask a question. Who came up with this quiz thing? Whose brilliant idea was it? So you deserve to lose.
I'm really thinking. I think I'm going to put together some questions, and I'd like to get a 3-panel, and I'd like to have Mazzy, Frank, and Mr. Mayo. I think that'd be a good panel. Right. And I'm going to come up with the questions.
Well, Sticker Mania would beat me. I think I have a good chance against Mayo. We're probably even, but I probably have no. I don't know, but I think Sticker Mania would beat me.
Well, we'll put him on a 3-second time delay.
No, it's not about the delays if we're writing them down.
It was kind of nice to see Rachel.
Can you give me a budget to buy more?
It was nice to see Rachel. It
Yeah.
was good. I got a lot of comments about how much they enjoyed seeing Rachel.
But once she starts her new channel, how nice is it going to be to see Rachel?
As long as it's separate.
Yeah,
I got a couple of inboxes say, do Rob and Rachel hate each other? I didn't see Rob at the.
Wait, who inboxed you that?
I'm not going to tell you. Doesn't matter.
oh man.
No, I want
See,
to answer their question directly. Yeah, we hate each other.
See, I'm here every morning to support Rob. He hasn't even watched the video yet.
Harry, I know this is a misconception people have, but I have a job. I have a real job.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. People, we know that people don't pay attention and don't, I did that thing yesterday.
Fluffy says it was me.
I got that video with Joey, and I announced that I'm going to eventually, probably in June, do a Patreon. I'm leading up to it. And there's about 2 or 3 comments that people apparently don't listen. They think everything's going to be different. Basically everything is free. That's free now. I'm not cutting back. I'm just doing more behind a paywall.
The Patreon is Mazzy After Dark. He'll show you his shoulder, his naked shoulder.
Well, it's different stuff. It's so
their skin.
It's all going to be about little feet.
Little feet and my feet. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
so
I mean,
yeah, whatever. No, Nick Rudo's saying this. Everyone's out for everyone, but I mean,
I'm not subscribing, and I like Rachel, but I'm not going there. So
yeah, I think when people
that'd be a
start
mistake.
political, my feeling is when people start very narrow subject channels with that I don't know, I don't see the sailing there. I don't, because it just really is complaining.
So another right-wing channel on YouTube. Wow.
It's complaining about stuff.
No, it isn't. I'm tired of. Sorry.
Okay, wait. So people who speak, who have a certain view on politics, and do live streams about them is not complaining. It's complaining. People complaining. I have no interest in watching people complain, except me complaining here about people complaining.
Duh.
This hasn't been working lately. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Do I need to clear stuff up about my take from 2 days ago? Just curious.
What are you talking about?
No, I want to answer Sticker Mania. Sticker Mania, I think what the reality is, you and I would know different things. You know some details that I didn't remember yesterday. Like Mr. Fix-It, I knew, but I totally forgot about that it was his.
See, I would have known Magic Alex, that kind of stuff, but Mr. Fix-It.
I knew that because I've read all those books literally. But
but here's the deal. Here's where the drama and the compelling watching is. Why would you do a quiz on stuff you guys know a lot about?
Well, that's
entertainment for me, but to watch you have to suffer through questions,
because
that would seem to be outside of your.
The Beatles in the 60s and the Beatles, there's so much questions you can go. I think Rachel had a nice balance of hard and easy. And I think there was a good balance. There was a few trick things that I still disagree with the thing about A Hard Day's Night, because even that book they were talking about came out in 65, not 64. So, did John Lennon use that phrase in a little bit about a heart, maybe, but in terms of the initial thing for the song at the time.
So you're saying there should be a what do they call it? A redo.
A rematch?
Not a rematch, but it was rigged.
I think there should be.
Actually, I don't believe things were rigged.
I think there should be a rematch.
I'm pretty sure Mazzy had all the questions in advance.
I think you guys should be in the same place.
You mean just like Biden had, or Hillary had all the questions?
Hold on. Here's what I rather see. I rather see Mr. Sticker Mania try and remove a sticker from an album cover. and without any kind of aid, just his fingernails.
I think Mr.
And
Stick.
it has to
Here's
be
the
one of Dr. Roberts' albums with a
That's
sticker.
okay. I was going to just say that Mr. Sticker Mania and Dr. Robert need to do a video together.
Does Dr. Robert actually glue that?
No, it's just a sticker.
They're on
He
the
uses that double-sided tape. Hey,
no.
I was watching some.
They're labels that have gum on the back.
Okay, yeah.
I was watching a pretty well-established comedian say that she was hanging out with her mother-in-law. It's that Tig Notaro, and her mother-in-law attempted to tell a joke she made up, and it was not funny, and it just made her laugh so hard how she struggled through telling the joke. So she asked her to be her opening at a show. You're doing the same thing. I think that's Dr. Robert's future. We should get him up on stage and be forced to tell all his stories.
Perfect opening act.
I see concert chances here. Concert Buddy. So I think Concert Buddy and Arnaldo want me to do like a series of Patreon mall walks, mall videos. So I'll pick malls.
Will
Actually-
there be a doctor's visit?
Here's what
We
I
were
want to see
going-
for your Patreon. Chance following you in a mall, videoing you.
There you go.
Well, those are the kind of things
I pay to see
people.
that. I pay to
Believe
see
me, people want just hangout thing. There's things that I just don't do on my channel anymore. But it's not. Nothing's going to be different.
So what is it, like $1 a month?
I don't know yet. I'm working on it. I'm going to have 3 tiers. So there's going to be. I'm going to start at $5 like Rachel does. If Rachel can start at $5, at 40,000 subscribers almost, I can start at $5, and then I'll have a couple of tiers. I don't
There'll be a lot of tears involved.
I have no idea. I have no idea how it. But it's
Hey, Chance, are you free to come up and talk about the Austin record show? I know Chance is doing his live.
Did he
stream.
go to it again? Did he go to it?
He went to it. I'm just curious how well. I talked to Eddie Perez, or I texted with Eddie Perez. He went one day, and I was just curious how well attended it was.
Wasn't Jack White there? Didn't he show up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw someone who took a picture with Jack White. I forget.
Everybody, I saw like 5 pictures of people with Jack, like Texas David with Jack White, and Jack Black with Jack White, and
I cannot stand Jack Black.
Oh,
I
love
used
him.
to like him. He's just I don't like the guy.
Okay.
What did he do to irritate you so much?
His last name.
Hey, here's the
I
deal.
prefer Jack White.
Hey, next week on my channel, I'm
a
doing
Trumper now.
I'm doing a Jack White trivia contest with Harry. Jack Black.
The Concert Buddy says a ton of people the prices continue to soar. But I find with records, there's always high records and there's always cheap records. It's kind of like the people that went to Den Bosch. I watched all those Brits, all the
That's
Brits
where
that
I
went to
wanna
Den
go.
Bosch. So wait a second. All the Brits that went to Den Bosch said they were very expensive records, but a lot of 5 and 10 euro records. So a good.
Well, okay,
range.
but okay, Mazzy. So here's a typical if what Chance's experience was someone had a different one, their video would be, I got a lot of good records at good prices. But
Right.
if you're not hearing that consistently, then
No,
what
see, I
Chance
don't. See, I disagree. 'Cause like at Den Bosch, what do you got? 500 booths, 500 tables or booths or whatever you want, stalls. You can't have everyone selling $500 and $1,000 records. You're going to have people that have like.
I only
watched
take
all-
one record when I go to a record show. I ask $1 million for it, but I only got to sell one.
There you go.
that's
a
why
genius.
you lost,
You're
Harry.
a genius. You're a genius, Harry. No wonder you
Anyone
lost.
go to Texas? Anyone go to Austin?
That's what we're just talking about.
Yeah, were you
Talking
asleep?
about Den Bosch.
Wake up.
Did your terrier kill a ground squirrel in your
I
brain?
actually talking about Den Bosch.
No, before
there
that,
was
We didn't
another-
move on.
Plus, there
Chance
was
went
another.
to-
There was another thing in was it Dallas or something? The Lone Star audio show.
Mm.
Anyone hear about that?
No.
Shit.
Here.
You know, there's a whole bunch of records that there's just no interest in anymore. I mean, seriously, I can't sell an Elton John or a Billy Joel record.
Actually, that's what most.
Classic rock is done.
Yeah,
It
that's
really
what I
is.
Most is classic
That's
rock.
not what I like. I just did that. I'm doing that another auction Saturday, but I did one a month ago, and a lot of classic rock stuff sold. I mean, it's not expensive stuff.
they're buying it because they're buying it from you, Maz. But if you're a record store, that stuff just sits.
Well, according to like Mike Ingroove, like Fleetwood Mac, Eagle, Rush, he can't keep that stuff in.
Rush, no, but
he says
there's like 50 classic rock titles, of course, that you can't.
Rush,
that's,
I
like,
understand.
that's like anything. There's some records,
but everything else is done.
But there's always it's always a roller coaster.
Like you can't sell a Three Dog Night record or a Chicago record.
You never could sell a Three Dog.
I don't think this is going to come back. I think this is a demographic thing.
These are all bands I grew up with, but nobody wants them today.
Right.
Let me
never had a shelf life.
Well, hold on. Here. So my good friend who has a record company, he feeds off of the big ones still not wanting to, that are not willing to put out certain records, but they're okay giving them to smaller labels to reissue. I really feel the future is about discovering bands that have a good catalog and are good bands. I mean, people go watch Steven Schnee's shit because he's talking about bands
that watch that.
That's the thing. I'm not interested.
Go watch Steven Schnee's shit.
Music.
You got there's a Patreon for that, Rob.
There are people he's talking about bands that no one talks about that put out good work and good stuff. So I mean, there's plenty of
what Steven talks about, which I think is good, and he plays. I mean, he's like a DJ. His Sunshine Pop, a lot of that stuff that you wouldn't buy whole albums with, but they're great
not just
playlists. They're great playlists.
What they're buying is metal. They're buying punk. They're buying, they're buying the stuff that didn't sell millions of copies initially.
Well, it did on CDs, but the vinyl, it was.
No, I mean, Dan
you talk about punk.
People buying.
You punk is new music.
It is.
1976, 77. Yeah. That's not new.
That's because I was in the military raising a family then.
Yeah.
I wasn't into music then. I mean, I couldn't be.
Television, Blondie, Dead Kennedys. That's not new music.
No, it's not.
No, I'm not saying it's new. Dan says, what are people buying at record shows? And that's what they're buying.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking. That's the stuff that the decent money is going for.
I mean, that's kind of the. I don't think the reason I kind of focus on jazz is my interest musically, but I feel like no one else is auctioning off those records. I don't think they're particularly easy to find. I find them. I'm kind of sticking with stuff that I learn and know about.
Look at the top selling records on Discogs. They always do it every month. They do the top selling records this month and see what it is. It's usually
that's for me. That's not a good place to look because the top selling records you're talking about the most selling for the most money or
most
number
money for the most money.
Okay, that wouldn't be an accurate way. It would be the most selling records.
Well, they do that as well. And those are usually record store day titles.
It doesn't matter how much they sell for. It's the one titles that are selling the most.
I got this magazine in the mail that had a 70-year-old man who's 2 days younger than me on the cover. This thing here,
I can't find anyone that's not on Social Security.
That's a good cover picture, though. That's a good cover picture.
My Patreon, for $40 a year, you get 7 issues of Record Collector News.
Wow, now that's a value.
Yeah, and it gets all of the ink. Look at your fingers now, Maz. Yeah.
Jim, when you mail like a whole box of those to a record store, what type of mail are you using? You're not using media, right? Is there a book rate?
I'm not allowed to, but I've been using a pirate ship.
I know, but do you have to send it by ground?
Advantage? It's usually UPS ground, some sort of UPS ground.
Wow, that's not cheap.
Well, no, it does cost. It's under $10 though.
Okay,
a small box, but it's not cheap. It's not.
I'm changing.
That's part of doing business.
I'm changing the subject here. Or not changing the subject. So this is from February. The best-selling records on Discogs in February. So Taylor Swift record.
This is not price, or is this price?
No,
No,
this is the number of the quantity.
Got it.
quantity,
Got it.
quantity,
Right.
Kendrick
which is a
Lamar,
better,
Taylor Swift.
which is a list, because if you look at we could look at what's selling for the most money. It's going to be the same usual suspects. I
Right.
think. Kendrick Lamar, Dream Theater,
Wow.
Diamond Jubilee. This one is very popular. This because it got a reissue by this We Release Jazz.
And they're all new releases, basically, even if it's a re-release.
not this one. This is a reissue from a.
Yeah, but it's still a new.
But they're new
release.
reissues.
Oh yeah, yeah, like Sade. That makes sense to me. The Sade.
9 Inch Nails.
In other words, they're not buying boomer music.
Well, Michael
no, I don't
Jackson's
see-
boomer.
Oh, there's a Rush record right there, but I don't see any classic rock here.
Well,
No,
Michael
no.
Jackson is kind of in the classic thing.
That is not classic rock. And this just was reissued.
See, now Rush.
That's why
always
it's
sounds
sold.
good.
That's why it's sold.
This record, The Sundays, is a very sought after record.
Yeah, but that you can get that on Amazon every day right now.
Let's go back here. They have the top for 2024.
Was it ML with Lenderman's on there?
So
Interesting.
this is the best selling records for last year, the whole year. Olivia Rodrigo, Jack White, Billie Eilish, the Tracy Chapman, and this is before the reissue came out. So this record seems right to me that it's always a best selling record. I don't know Young Thug, David
Sade.
Bowie.
And that's like that's the soundtrack. Yeah, Pearl Jam.
Do you see
That's
classic
just
rock?
because of Vance. there.
Bill Collins, more Sade.
Yeah.
Smiths.
Vance bought all those copies.
He
Hey,
bought 'em
Smiths.
all.
That's why Rhino
You
would
do?
love.
Oh.
Rhino would love to get the Smiths records, but
So-
they can't get them.
So this Bill Evans is the one Kraft when they put out the mono version. That's what that is.
Kraft has a next the next Kraft.
So
Bill
that
Evans.
list is very interesting to me, and it's a very telling thing. So the whole thing that Jim has been, whenever we come out of a record store, that's usually the conversation he has with a record store owner that classic rock's not selling. That those lists show it. People aren't buying the
You
classic
might
rock.
want to look at your peanut gallery there.
Why? Oh, there's some jackass there.
Not
Oh, there
sure.
Who do you think's a jackass?
Omaha.
Well, Omaha Outcast looks like it's got Billiam as an
Oh.
avatar.
Oh, okay. No, it's
Yeah.
me, and it's Billiam. Billiam.
But
Go fuck
so what? I did a video came up today. I respond to Dom seeking a thread. Flipping is overrated. I'm defending flippers. Flippers do the fucking work. You
Well,
can't go
okay.
on guys
They
and-
do.
I
They provide a service.
hold on with the flipping. If I thought I could find a record and sell it for a lot of money, I'd be up for it. But it seems to me the gravitational pull for this is record store day. There really aren't many titles there anymore.
Exactly.
that are
Exactly. Exactly.
And honestly, I don't know what is flippable now as far as new records being put out. Is it an autograph that you can get from a mom and pop? One that comes with an autograph? I don't think I'm that connected anymore to that kind of those titles.
It's not about defending a flipper specifically. I didn't, but it is. I actually did defend the flipper.
But I mean, okay,
it's a lot of work for not a lot of money, really.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
yeah.
I have a
Yeah, you're
joke.
right.
I have a flipper joke.
No.
Do you know what dolphin sex is? It's when you try to put it in the wrong hole and she goes,
They called him
It
Flipper,
was nice having Harry here.
faster than lightning. Nobody you see.
I'm here twice a week.
They called him Flipper.
Hey, Harry, next week on Harry's channel is the bestiality quiz. He's looking
This
for
is like
someone
that movie. What was that movie with the
Trivia.
Morgan Freeman, all the old guys sitting around and rob a bank or something? What's that movie, Rob?
Well, the better
Yeah.
is the original one is Going in Style with George Burns and Art
Yeah.
Carney.
That's what this has become.
Except for instead of robbing a bank, we bitch about Flipper.
So,
Hey, I saw the 80 box.
getting back to it, the logic. Okay, here's the logic of a flipper. if record store day is the gravitational pull to flip a record, and you're getting up at 2 a.m. to wait in line, and you average out how much an hour, you're not. It's the
And
effort.
you get one copy, and you have to go to
You
another
get one
store and get another
copy.
copy. Yeah.
Yeah, the effort isn't worth it. So if anyone who says the problem are flippers is wrong, 100% wrong.
And then they blame the
problem isn't
record
flippers.
company. What I said in that video, they'll blame a record company and say, well, the record companies just press more because they're limiting, they're creating this FOMO. But the thing is,
There is truth to that.
but not really. But with flippers, the record companies, the artists don't make any of that extra money. So they don't want to have extra stock. That's what it's about now.
Well, okay. So if we talk about record store day, the loser is the record store owner because they're paying for the inventory. They have to have the records.
Right.
So they're the losers. I honestly believe if a record company knows they can sell a lot of one particular title, they're going to find a way to press a lot of that title.
Yeah.
But don't they now they'll do X amount for record store day and then just a shitload afterwards?
Well, it depends. They're first
No,
release and exclusive.
They don't do that? Or they do?
Sometimes.
They have record store day first, but I have yet to see one get reissued.
Oh yeah, there've been a bunch. There've been a bunch, but not everything. And sometimes something will say exclusive, and then a year later there'll be a different variant completely, even though they said exclusive. So they're not always. So
you know what?
You got to buy it because you like the music, not because
here's the world. Here's the world I want to live in. This is the world I want to live in. What Strata East is doing with their catalog that they're putting out. I rather hard to find records are pressed and people that want them can buy them. That's the world I want to live in.
Hard to find records are a dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm. Here, I have records I picked up the other day. I will show them and probably get the same response I always get when I show them. So I'm a big fan. I say this of Blossom Dearie, who, if you grew up with Schoolhouse Rock, she's the female singer on most of those songs. She had her own record label called Daffodil Records. And for some reason, I think for a period of time, she lived in Winchester, Virginia, which is sort of a border area. It's kind of northern Virginia near DC. That's where the label was headquartered. That's the logo. I think this completes. I think I might have all her Daffodil records. This is a double record. Ron Carter plays on this. And it's excellent. It's really good. This one, I think, is the one particular hard to find Blossom Dearie record. So, very good.
I'm
You're not
asked
to talk about my records I'm showing.
No, I'm not. I'm asking. I was asked what the problem is. If it's not, whose problem is it? If it's not, if record companies aren't to blame and stores aren't to blame and flippers aren't to blame, buyers. If people don't pay,
let me show my records, Mazzy, and then we'll talk about that shit. All right. Piecemeal, Lee Kunitz. If you're not into him, you should get into him. This is on Milestone. Yeah. Okay, Mal Waldron. I've got another Mal Waldron record. This is out in Japan. Mal Waldron Plays the Blues, a live record on Polydor, Japan. It's good. Okay, here's one I want to show. So I found this yesterday. This is a very interesting story. This is a Grant Green record called Iron City that originally came out on Cobblestone. The story behind this record is it's not Big John Patton playing on here. He's even said I didn't play on this record. It was Larry Young, who's an excellent jazz organ player. But the story behind this record is there was a lot of mystery. There's a long Hoffman Forum thread, and I found other threads where he was playing a show in Pittsburgh, and he needed money for some stuff. And a guy said, "I'll record a record like now if you give me money." So they went and they scheduled studio time in Pittsburgh, recorded this record, I think in 1965. And the guy had the tapes who gave him money, but he didn't have they tried to get a record deal with these tapes, and they eventually sold it to Buddha, because Cobblestone's a division of Buddha Records. Yeah. And that's how this record came out. This is the original Buddha cover. And then when Muse bought Cobblestone, this horrible, crappy ass cover is how they reissued it. So I guess
Wow.
this is more apropos. Is
terrible.
Wait, in the late 60s, Grant Green was in jail for drugs. Maybe this is like he was in a prison or something. I don't know. But
He's in
it's
prison.
a good
but
record. What now? It's a good record. All right, and then I found the sealed OJC. So they in the 80s, 86, they put out when everyone was putting out these records on this KM Virgin Vinyl, KC, whatever it is. They put out a series of special limited edition OJCs on this stuff, and they sound excellent. They sound really good. So I found that. All right. Now we can go back to Mazzy making his point about.
I want to show a record. This is Rob showing a record.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Harry talking. Nothing I say is interesting, and it's often kind of stupid.
No, I was just saying, who do you blame? I mean, Chance said, yeah, if someone doesn't buy it, someone else is going to step in their place. Yes, buyers feed flippers. I compared it to my son is a gamer. Remember when PlayStations first came out, the first ones? You had for months you couldn't get them, and they would, people would wait in line at the Sony stores, at the Metreon in San Francisco, the Sony stores, and get these PlayStations and sell them for hundreds of dollars more.
It's a great record.
Hold on 1 second. Rocco, why do I have to yell at you every stream? The record was put out before someone pressed John Patton on. Did he play on the record? He goes, no. That was after these records were put out. Okay?
Both of them. Okay.
Both of them.
Okay.
The one was put out in 72. The other one was put out in 76. Okay? All right, go. I'm sorry, Mazzy.
No, I mean, it's just an ongoing conversation. I have ongoing conversation. Yeah.
This came in the mail yesterday.
Have you listened to it yet?
Yeah.
And
I have a very nice original that I just thought there's no way it's going to be that much better, but it is. It's freaking.
It's more different than better. I think the original is probably hotter. Did you experience that?
I
not better, but hotter.
I haven't listened to the original in a while. All I did was listen to this, and I was blown away. I was blown away by how good it sounds.
It does sound good.
Now, I did kind of resituate my stereo a little bit, so maybe that's why. But
no, I think it's really good. I had a little back and forth argument with Michael Fremer on his Facebook thing he posted his review. Well, he gave the sound like a 9. Which is great out of 10, right? And he gave the music a 7. I said 7. What the fuck? I didn't say fuck, And then he responded.
The music is a 9.
And it's funny, but then he responded and says, first of all, it's disjointed and this and that, and it was American. They didn't even put it out in the UK and stuff. And here's what was my response. All those songs were written in 1968. It is as diverse as the Beatles' White Album. Listen, if you think about the White Album, it's all over the place. It's a great record, but every genre is on the White Album, really. And that's
do we have to think about the White Album.
Well, it's the same year. And also, when he said that it didn't come out in the UK, well, first of all, it came out everywhere in the fucking world except the UK because 3 years. All Donovan's records didn't come out in the UK because of a contractual thing. So it was made as an album. It was recorded over months, made as it's not a comp. It's not an American-only comp. It was an album. So if you don't like the music, that's one thing. And it's a subjective response.
Regardless of how it was put together, this is the way I consumed it as a young kid.
Exactly.
That's the
way it was originally put out.
I didn't know or care about any of that shit when I was consuming.
But it was put out. It was put out everywhere in the world except the UK. So you can't say it's just an American only. It's American centric because American was the biggest country.
Even if it's Jimmy Kaplan only, that's the way I.
Here's a good Donovan album right there.
But it is all over the place. That's a good record too.
Steve Westman's doing a live stream, and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. about vinyl formulations, make sure you talk about this one.
KM.
The KM that came out through the mid to late 80s. They were pressing.
Who did
Is
this
this a
artwork?
result?
Mazzy?
What?
Who did the artwork? Do you know?
I don't remember. It probably would say on there, wouldn't it?
I looked. I didn't see anything.
You know what they need to do? I mentioned it to the Impex guy, but I don't know if they have access anymore or whatever. But there was a CD of that's not great sounding of the whole show. That's like that was a bigger show, but they didn't release half of it because the songs he recorded were on the next record. So
Right.
that would be a double album of that whole thing on vinyl. I think there was a limited vinyl somewhere, but would be a great vinyl record. Yeah. Yeah.
I also bought this yesterday. Big mistake.
I have that. I like that.
Because, well,
Lounge
I already had a freaking copy of it.
Oh, that's why it's a mistake.
Is that the
But-
Texas Lounge
okay.
Lizards?
No, it's
No,
they're it's
But
John
here's the
Lurie
question.
and it's
But here's the question for Jim. How often do you do that? Often.
40% of the time.
Yeah, but put your albums on Discogs, and then before you buy an album, go look on Discogs that you sold it.
hey,
I did 2 squares. It took me 3 months.
Oh well,
I have 60 some odd squares. I ain't doing it.
if Westman's listening, is this video tonight or your thing tonight a result of that MoFi thing about doing Bitches Brew not in the super vinyl or whatever they call it? Yeah, super
Hey,
vinyl.
Can let me ask you a question, Mazzy, and I don't want any blowback from this question. Please take it the way it's intended.
Don't tell me how to
Not from you.
answer. Okay,
Not from
right
you.
away you
No.
set it up.
No, not from you, just from people.
Oh, okay.
Let's write our blowback down. Show it at the same
I'm
time.
not trying to resuscitate my stance on MoFi, but would you respect a record label that has an audiophile product, like a premium, big time, their top of the line audiophile product? Would you respect them with the same press release they put out and say, because of the way it sounded on the type of vinyl we use, we're not going to issue it as this?
Yes, because I would want someone to say, okay, we wanted to paint your house. We thought this Benjamin Moore was great, but we tested the Sherwin-Williams. It's a little less money. We found out it sticks better. And if they did that test and told me that, I would say, hey, you're the painter. I trust you.
So then you're going to say, well, what about all the houses that you painted for me for the last 5 years
Well,
that you said it was the best paint?
Why do we have to do analogies? Why can't we just stick to records?
Yeah. Well,
because wait, there isn't. In the back of my mind, I think I remember a label saying this. We felt. I know that I have several steeplechase records, and they put a disclaimer on the record that says the sound of this record is not up to our usual standard. We consider this an archival record sounding. Blah. I just think that if the record, they have a version of the record that's perfectly sounds great to me. I chose it over an original version of Bitches Brew. Excellent. Why can't they just say our premium product, which is pressed on super vinyl, it just doesn't live up to this product? We're not going to put it out.
Because no two records are alike. So they might have,
but
I'm
again,
sure
isn't it protecting? Look, they put a lot of effort in putting out these one steps. It is the top line of what they do.
And they do some super vinyl and other records too that aren't one step.
Well, I understand that. But again, to get all the premium product and everything, like if I'm not doing an analogy, but is there other labels who put out an audiophile product who would say this particular album just doesn't live up to being an audiophile version?
My only criticism of this is they should have said, here's what I would have said if I was running the company. Okay, we found out for this particular title that the formula, the super final, doesn't work, doesn't make it sound better. In fact, we felt the standard good black vinyl sounds better. So we're going to charge this one at $100 instead of $125. We're going to save you money because we feel this is the better product for this title. But another title, it might sound better with the super vinyl.
That's a good sound. Well, I have a question because I am not the person to come to talk about one steps.
Right.
Does the one step process make the record sound better?
I don't think so. Personally, I don't think so. Some people do.
So,
I don't like one step. I think it's a waste.
If a record doesn't sound good to begin with, or doesn't sound it, isn't that one step process going to make the sound more revealing?
I would
think so.
I would think so.
Yes. Which is why maybe they didn't.
I'm not a fan of the one steps. You know me. I'm not a fan of the boxes. I think that is a way to add more money and make, add another 20 to 50 bucks, depending on it. Yeah. But some people like it. Some people I had a big argument. Now let's go back to that, the Katie Lang that came out, recently. Mine had sibilance all over it. And I didn't like it.
That through the Warner.
Yeah. That's that Music Matters, whatever it's called. And I love that record. And I got in it with there's one guy, those of you in the Hoffman forums probably know who I'm talking about. And he's a music guy, and he just raved about it. And I apparently a lot of people really like it. So I'm not saying it's just me on my system or the copy I got that I like the 2017 digital cut with the extra unplugged disc better than the one step version. I didn't love, but I will say the one step is the first time apparently they did it all analog, because it's even though it was analog recorded, it was cut to digital every time before this.
Katie Lang one.
Katie Lang, ingenue. And yeah. Okay, Lowell says that too. Lavelle says that too. But other people I read on the forums don't hear that sibilance. So, sometimes it's a setup on your table, your cartridge, but mine's been realigned, and it could just be a bad copy that we have. But it happens more. It's happened more for a handful. Even Fremer talked about that initially. Then he had to reset his rig up, and he got rid of it.
Sibilance is the worst for me. I can't.
So can I answer Raji? A muddy mix might sound better on super vinyl. A hot mix might sound not as good.
Exactly. That's why Matthew, I disagree. The MoFi to customers, fuck off. They didn't have to release that. They could have just put it out as is and not said anything.
Well, I mean, here again, Nicole bought it. She pre-ordered it. I asked Nicole privately, what date did you pre-order the Bitches Brew One Step?
2 years ago.
She said she sent me a receipt. 2021.
Yeah.
4
years ago.
2021. Okay. So that's 4 years, people.
When did they charge her for it though?
125, I think, or something.
When? Did she pay for it 4 years ago?
I don't know when
MoFi charges when you order, and Music Direct charges when they ship. So it depends who you order it from.
Okay,
did she order that?
Hold on, I don't want to be off track because I'm finishing Nicole's deal. Okay, well, here's my question I'm putting out there. In those 4 years, when do you think MoFi discovered this issue and how it sounded on super vinyl?
Well, probably in the last.
When did they release the record? I would say within the last 6 months before the record.
6 months. This is a new thing. MoFi has changed their way of doing it. Mike says it every time he shows MoFi. They used to do these things years in advance, which is ridiculous. I agree. But Chad used to do it too. He'd post something, it would come out a year or two later. MoFi doesn't do it anymore. Once MoFi announces it, it's usually within a month or 6 weeks at the most now. So they've changed that. So they've improved that.
No record was produced before the last 6 or 7 months of this. Yes. Are they touting this one step being pressed at their Fidelity plant?
Yes. Well, it has been. I mean, it's not a one step, but I got the Lotus, the Santana Lotus.
Well, we're not talking about that. I would be curious to know if these Bitches Brews were pressed at Fidelity.
Yes, they are.
Because, wait, if they weren't, then there's something.
Are. All
suspicious.
All MoFis now are pressed at
I
Fidelity.
understand that, Mazzy, but they announced this title for pre-order 4 years ago.
Yeah, but it's
didn't
getting
make
they only
that.
it's just recently pressed. They weren't sitting in a warehouse for 4 years.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know the answer. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, I wouldn't see the cost of warehousing them for 4 years is.
Yeah, they're not going to, especially at one step. Yeah.
But it's crazy that you could pre-order the goddamn thing 4 years ago.
Well, I did that with the
they used to do
Was
that.
that before? Was that
Remember-
before the shit hit
Yeah,
the fan with those?
to be fair to MoFi, the pandemic happened, so that
Yeah.
fucked everything up.
I ordered the first 2 Warren Zevons on MoFi like 2 or 3 years before the second one came out. And then about a year before the second one came out, or 6 months before, they said, we're not doing the first Warren Zevon. There's issues with the tape, or I forgot what they said. And they decided not to do the first Asylum Warren Zevon. So they announced it. It was on the back of their Christmas catalog everywhere. I pre-ordered those Rycooter records. I would pre-order like years, but I would do it through Music Direct because they wouldn't charge you until it's shipped. Whereas MoFi charges you at the get-go, which is strange because they're parent, sister, brother company.
Wait. Doesn't Music Direct give you better shipping prices too than MoFi?
I don't remember.
I think that they
They have
do.
better customer service. I know that.
Yeah. Well, you can talk to someone there. You can't talk to anyone at MoFi. MoFi, we talk about this. Their mistake, I think, they need to have someone out there to talk to us. I'll talk to people occasionally.
I
You
mean,
know, like Rhino,
I'm not
like
talking about MoFi. I talked to my friend's company. You should have someone who's the face of your company recording videos every time you put out a record.
yeah. I mean,
Doesn't just regulate.
you got to give Chad credit. He comes out, or he has this guy come out on New Release Fridays. He talks about, Rob, we're putting out the best jazz record, $150 with a box, but we made the box thinner because Mazzy got pissed off.
Shut the fuck up, Mazzy.
Hey, does he not
Dude.
say that? What was his saying?
Dude.
Buy now,
But
scratch your
cry
balls
later.
later.
Cry later. Buy now. Cry later.
Chance is at every record store. He's the only guy that can mix sports up with records, except Mazzy always wears that fucking San Francisco Giants hat.
Steroids.
Being nice to each other, Richard James.
Well,
It's going to be
like,
interesting to see.
This is like family.
I was watching
Chad's
this
a nice
morning
guy.
when I got up. I was watching the Ingrooves new release thing, and he had mentioned there's in that analog productions or acoustic sounds reissues of the Verve titles. The newest one, the Ben Webster one, is mastered at the facility he bought, the mastering lab, by the Matt Luthans. So they.
I want to respond.
So he's got all of the
DJ Joel.
Mastering Lab equipment.
MoFi didn't do the publicity. The thing is, when that MoFi thing happened, they weren't doing publicity. They had done like years earlier conversation with the guys, and some guy said some digital step in a and people pick it up. It's like doing a gotcha moment, picking up that something Hillary or Biden or said 3 years ago, and now things so they use that leading. Now they lied, and their press releases were inaccurate, but they should have had someone come out and talk about it. But part of it is they were with the lawsuits and the settlement happened, but that's all over now. So
yeah,
they should.
That's all over now. They've manufactured a whole new controversy to deal with.
Yeah, but it's not a big. It's a full controversy, really.
Can anyone let me know if Texas David's made a video about it?
That means that would kill it. But yeah, I don't know. I've been around those guys from MoFi and Music Direct for a while, and they've never looked at me like I'm important to them.
Hold on.
Why would they?
Hold on.
We don't do that
they
here.
don't even like.
Are you
they
stalking
don't look
Reba
like
McEntire again,
even as a
Jimbo?
person, though. Even as a person, they kind of whatever. There are people that sell $50,000 stereos who are nice to you.
I get it.
And who think
You're right.
an important
They need to
person.
put out there
I'll
at least.
never be a customer.
That's what I'll say. Like I'm not here to defend Chad, but he puts himself out there, and I admire that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, but
Chad going on Rachel when he did with everybody was a huge mistake.
Well,
he wasn't a
he
room
was
leader.
he was pumped up and
no one
before he got
has,
on.
in
He
my
didn't read the
opinion,
room.
no one has more disdain for his customers than Chad does.
I don't know about
think
that.
so at all.
I don't.
That's
I
my
mean, I don't know. I don't buy from the guy. I don't buy shit from either of those guys.
What the hell are you in Nashville, Kimbo, for? Why are you there?
He's going to see Pearl Jam in Atlanta, I think. We went last night, maybe.
Yeah, but Richard James, does your endorsement really help or not help anyone?
Well, I'm the one that should be pissed off, and I am actually, because I think he overreacted, and the group, his posse, who brought him on there, overreacted. I didn't even get a word out edgewise. And come on, people
Oh
don't
yeah.
understand.
That was
Over the top. I didn't even get my words out. But
No.
he
You know
thought
what
of
his,
what
you know what? Here's what his line to me was: if you don't like it, go find some originals. Actually, a week after he said that to me, I did find 2 originals.
yeah.
But within 2 years of him saying that, Kraft is issuing those as 33s, and people said they sound better than his 45.
a goober. That's funny. You know, and the thing is, on that video, I need to get a copy of it. If someone has one, I need to text me. I had it for years, and I don't have it anymore. But I basically said, "Hey, Chad, can I?" And before I even said it, he knew I was going to say, but he doesn't really know what I was really going to say. And because of my disdain for the boxes, but not just his boxes, MoFi boxes too, he just.
I think there's a little bit more to it than kiss the ring or piss off.
Matthew, was I publicly shamed? Sure. To me, I've been in service I have customers and clients. You don't talk to your clients that way, especially in a public forum. If you're pissed at them, you write them, you talk to me. Hey, Matthew, pick up the phone, call me, write me and say, hey, I don't like, here's the deal.
Up, Harry.
That's the way you do it. But hey, I used it. Believe me, I bleeded that out for a couple of years using it on t-shirts and shit. So I saw the humor in it. I just thought it was ridiculous. I didn't take it personal. I thought it made him look worse than me. So that's my take on that.
I've had 2 interactions. I bought a Cisco sealed Steely Dan Asia from him. He was selling it at a show for like $80, and he looked at me like I was out of my fucking mind. And then a couple of years later, some guy was trying to do a paper like mine, and he gave everyone free ads for the first issue. And I saw it at the Chicago show at Expona. I'm at Expona looking at this thing. Chad sees me looking at it, and he comes running over and he goes, "I want you to know I didn't pay for that ad." So that was nice. That was a nice move.
Hey,
period.
Rod Riggs, it's his baby. He got fed up though. I only did it I probably did 5 videos, but not specifically on that. And I did it with the Jimi Hendrix that I bought. I bought all of. I did it with
you did it a lot just talking on Rachel's stream.
It builds up. I don't like the boxes, but now we know all the boxes are thinner now. So, for one way or another, whether it's price or demand or shelf space, both MoFi and Chad have reduced the size of the box. So
I mean, I've got 6 Eagles UHQRs over there that take up almost a full cube.
And those are MoFi. MoFi never called me up or went on a stream and got pissed at me.
The boxes look
the
nice,
thing is,
but they take up a lot.
When I did it in private.
When I did those videos, the ones with Chad UHQRs, I praised the vinyl. When I did my Bob Marley, the Bob Marleys that I bought, those 2 Bob Marleys, I praised the covers, the vinyl, the sound of the records, but I bitched about the boxes. So come on.
And you're still doing it.
Yes. Well, this is the conversation. A box is for putting your records.
This should have been a full-size book. It's too small.
It's 8.5-inch square. All right.
Yeah, the only reason that Harry wanted that to be a full-size book is so when his wife's around, he could hide a Playboy inside of it.
You know, Harry, we thought of it, even though it's not a walking guide with maps and stuff. When we did it, we thought people could stick it in their side bag on the road, bring it to England or something. That's why we made it smaller
Hey,
than
Harry, thank Mazzy for thinking about you and your purse.
I'm glad I bought this, man. I'm
I hate to say
so
it, but Richard
stoked.
James, the tough gong pressings are terrible.
Here's a trivia question for Mazzy. What's the ISBN number on this book?
It depends if it's the paperback or the hardback, and I don't know.
Paperback.
I don't know.
Now, Harry, was that book flagged for someone reading it in the bathroom?
It was in the bathroom. You can tell right away.
Okay, Harry, what record is this? This is a catalog number for an album. SWBO 101.
That would be the White Album.
Good, you got it. Okay.
Wow, you are nerds.
No,
How long on the record label? How long is Hey Jude?
7 minutes 11
Very
seconds.
good.
You know,
Did you say Hey
the reason I know it, because in the days of the 70s, I used to do a lot of the orders, and I used to know all the catalog numbers because I would order records for the stores. You get to know certain records. I don't remember a lot of them anymore.
It always goes back to the Beatles.
It's getting to be ridiculous, isn't it, Chance? Maybe you should do a live stream about it.
But, you know, all these
Thursday
bands
night.
wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the Beatles. Maybe there would have been someone else probably, but it was the Beatles. So it all goes back to the Beatles. You know,
Well, I'm glad I got this thing before it sold out. That's for sure.
Is that the mono or stereo?
This is the UHQR.
Wasn't there
stereo.
one of Didn't they do a mono and a stereo? I have that one too.
And boy, am I glad I bought that, because they only made 20,000 of them, and
oh, is that all?
Yeah, and they're still available, but in about 10 or 15 years, these are going to be worth $100. I paid 150. So buy it now or cry later.
Apparently there's a lot of them there's a lot that David signed both our names on too. So we saw, who was it? Someone just had a copy and I didn't sign it. Someone posted it somewhere and it wasn't me. David,
they got my name wrong. It's not Jerry.
Hey, who timed you out, Rochelle? Who timed you out? Who timed her out?
Yeah,
I didn't. I don't know.
Stop. Unless someone says something derogatory about someone, let me.
Here's a suggestion. When William shows up, if he's not being a dick, don't time him out. Give him a chance.
Okay, here's the
don't
deal.
give him any
Harry.
oxygen.
He comes in with troll accounts. That automatically is a no-go for me.
That's true.
Tom, Wyoming Dave, don't jump on Tom. He admitted it. Don't jump on Tom.
Hey, listen, dude. I know my size intimidates you when I talk to you in person.
Go take a nap, Tom. It's
Where's
too
Tom
early
Lee?
for you.
Well, Steve, I don't know how old you are, Steve, but if you grew up in real time with the Beatles, there was no comparison. There was none. They ruled the roost.
Yeah, artists started writing their own material and playing all their own material. They weren't just studio musicians. They weren't other writers. I mean, we had both, but they were like the first ones that actually wrote and performed. You know, after their second album, after their second album, almost everything was original. You know, so I don't know how old you are, but if Steve, but if you weren't there, you don't understand. Maybe you were there and you still don't understand. Now, of course, go ahead.
You know, it was things that were going on. It was, you know, Kennedy assassination,
Vietnam War,
huh? Yeah,
women's movement, free sex,
Hey,
and drugs, LSD.
How you doing, Gas? How you doing? How's your health going? Let us know.
Jim, did you ever burn your bra?
The
Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead's like really 3 years later.
All you guys are doing are being sentimental about your teen years, but I'll let you know a little secret. The Beatles are just as popular today as they ever were. So I don't understand your
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't
No,
make sense.
and but the thing is, unlike Harry, I like a lot of new music.
I like new
There's some-
music. I just
Let's do
I
a
just
new
picked
music
up a
debate,
band
Harry.
called what was their name? It was a Cowsills, I think. The new Cowsills record.
I do like Billie Eilish, and I do like this singer Rosalia. They're very good. Very
Hey.
little auto tune.
Hey, Susie.
I like Lana Del Rey a lot too.
I like Lana Del Rey as well. I
Yeah.
have that record. I play it.
What's her real name?
Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
Ray
It's not
Lana.
Lana Del Rey.
Lana Lifshitz.
Lana, I was going to Bernstein.
Lana Lifshitz. Her real name is Choo Choo Rabinowitz.
Yeah.
That was a question yesterday on
That's the
Jeopardy.
new Pope name. Hey, if it was a fake, if it was a fake Michael whatever account, let me know. I need to ban.
Patrick's right. The Beatles went through a stage that they weren't. They waned a few years, and every decade or so, or 8 years, they come back.
Bite your tongue.
I heard this in a story yesterday. Isn't Lana Del Rey's next record a country album? That's what I think I heard.
It's
Can
coming out
someone
next month.
verify that?
I think she's a little repetitive. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, she's got a vibe. Definitely, I agree.
She's not a true singer. She's just like
Mazzy Star's got a vibe.
Kind of like Dylan.
The Mazzy Star have 2 or 3 records out, and once you hear one, it's the same. It's good, but it's the same.
You're welcome.
Kick-ass gas mask and hand grenades.
We're all falling apart.
So I finished that documentary, We Want the Funk, and then I watched it again.
Is it great?
It's so good. It is so good.
There is a
show is awesome.
There's a big soul show or a funk show, museum show opening up at the Mopop Museum here in a few weeks, I think, in Seattle. Soul and funk. So I'm going to check it out.
Hey, hold on. Someone has a message, I think, for Mazzy.
I saw that. We were talking about these labels, and that comes up. So someone asked me about it.
Hold on. Oakenfield. It's good to see gas masks or just anyone who's having gas? Yeah, it just seems silly to me that they haven't hired a proper publicity person.
You mean MoFi?
Yes.
I agree. We agree there, Rob.
Silly. It took you millions of dollars to make the same.
I think they should hire Melinda.
I think
they should hire Harry.
No,
you would kick ass.
He'll be a good spokesperson for them, officially.
Listen,
I think
we all agree that Harry could be. There's only one thing Harry could be a spokesperson for.
And
that's Preparation H.
This is the funny thing. You get people very territorial about us YouTubers, and if all of a sudden, we still have people bitching about when you get free records. For one thing.
Street.
We get people bitching about getting free records. Melinda apparently gets some from MoFi. I get some from Kraft and occasionally Rhino, a few other places sometimes. And people there's a segment that people don't get it and bitch about it. So if any of us got labels don't usually want to pay anyway. But if anyone, if I or Melinda or whoever.
Well, Mazzy, you have to stand up and be a man. Admit you've broken the VC.
What are you talking about?
You broke the VC because you promote albums you get for free. You broke it.
Shit. Are you serious?
No, he's not serious.
I get free records from local record stores. Almost got caught once.
Then you got to hate everything Dave Marsh or Lester Bang or all those reviewers. Every time everybody wrote Michael Fremer, everybody writes or talks about music, you gotta not trust.
Hey, Mazzy, do you consider yourself part of the VC?
Yeah, but not only that.
How many subs do you have right now?
I got 200 shy of 40,000.
Okay, just can't make it to 40, huh?
On an average month, how many subs do you get?
500.
Well,
4
I
to
would.
500.
So, based on that information you just told me, it seems though you're doing it the correct way. Anyone who makes live streams bashing you for how you do whatever you do is someone who's just hurt by life and doesn't get it. So, and they can make up any nonsense they want for their obvious disdain for
Yeah.
you.
No, but my point was, if any of us, just whoever, pick, Melinda, me, Dom, whoever, got paid by a label to do work for them, people heads would explode. Because if you're promoting MoFi, if I was promoting Kraft or Ryan, whoever,
Do you have
people
something
would.
to admit, Mazzy?
I'm not getting paid from any, I've never gotten paid by a label. So, but if we were, and let's just say I became the spokesman or Melinda became a spokesman for MoFi, a certain group of people would just not trust anything else they show for whatever reason. Oh, you're just promoting MoFi because you're getting paid.
Actually, Mazzy, Melinda could murder someone in Times Square and still be well loved.
That's true, actually. I guess if you did separate things not on your channel, like if she became, just use her example, on the MoFi channel, if she did like a weekly release, like there's that guy, that black guy that works for Rhino that does the Rhino videos of the new things. I assume he works for Rhino and he's their spokesperson. And then they get people like Patrick who comes out from Rhino for the hi-fi, the guy Jason who comes out occasionally for Rhino. That's the thing you need to do. You need to have different people. You don't have to have specifically the same spokesperson, but if you're doing Miles Davis issues on MoFi, have someone come from MoFi and talk about Miles Davis.
Hey, hold on one second.
Good one, Nick.
Nick Rudeau, no. Yet again with a bad take, Nick Rudeau.
No, he could do it on his days off.
No, and
When the store is
secondly,
closed.
too many records by his own admission is not part of the VC. I don't even think he's part of humanity. That's my opinion.
I've been to Portland so many times. I've never been to his store.
What store?
Too many records.
Oh.
When was the last time you were in Portland?
Oh, a month ago.
Kramer's all right.
And you were able to drop off the drugs with no problem.
No, I was able to get them with no problem.
Okay, here's the deal. Like, again, when I showed this formulation sounds excellent. But, I mean, again, I bought the Strata East that RTI's pressing. I don't know what vinyl they're pressing that on. It sounds excellent. It's nice and quiet sounding vinyl. Well, can't we go back to the days when people were yammering about it really is about how much lead content is in the vinyl that causes the burn?
It's all about how much lead content is in the paint.
Well, it's because you're eating it, Harry.
Did you ever eat mercury?
I think there's lead in this cup.
I had tuna fish the other day. I had tuna fish.
But remember the
That
thermometers?
has mercury in it.
Remember you could break open a thermometer and roll it around in your hand?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Steve Westman, when you do your stream tonight, have a chemist on there that can accurately tell you the molecular breakdown of each type of vinyl and why it sounds different. That's what I want on your live stream.
My experience is the Clarity vinyl, most of the time for me, my experience is noisier than the super vinyl.
But what is the regular vinyl like that RTI uses? What type?
I don't know what the formula is called, but it's usually really quiet. All those Fidelity's doing those reserve and then MoFi on the regular standard, whatever standard vinyl they use. It's good. I think it's good.
Oh, I can't possibly see in a million years the next person could add anything to this conversation.
Oh, here we go. Which one is it? Oh, okay.
All right. Hey, Dr. Robert, did you hear about my dog killed a ground squirrel baby?
No.
Yeah, my
broke his back.
Wire-haired terrier.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Well-
wait, what was that old
And-
story where Dr. Robert discovered a half-dead squirrel and left it there and came back in a few hours later or whatever?
I
It's still
rescued
dead.
it. No, I rescued the squirrel. Yeah.
You should do a video on Jim's squirrel saga.
Well, you know, it's part of living with animals. I mean, our cat is much more vicious than our dog is, but yeah, she's. In fact, I just found a mouse that had been.
We were being ironic with the direction of what we were talking about, Dr. Robert.
You know, it is kind of fascinating. I don't know.
Is there someone who provides a
Nature
service
is wonderful.
where I have a serious question. Is there somewhere out there that supplies a service where people are programmed to get sarcasm? Because I have someone I can send to you.
Hey, I hit the notification bell. I'm waiting for your record cleaning.
Put Dan
Or
B's
video.
content up there.
I know, Maggie. I am thinking about.
No,
it.
I'm excited to
Yeah.
eventually hear it.
Well, I bought a bunch of really dirty records at a thrift shop the other day.
Is it like
Triple
that?
X rated?
No, not that way. Yeah, grind.
Are they Red Fox records?
Rusty
Are they
Warren?
Red Fox records?
You know, it's funny. I bought these records there from a Christian camp that used to happen in the late 60s, early
Oh, the
70s.
dirtiest records are at Christian camps.
These have been, I don't know, these have just been
Ugh.
in somebody's garage or attic or whatever. So
Yeah, and behind the meat locker are the
Yeah,
three
did you
women.
pick
You
it
that
have
up?
to
lived
clean
since
those in holy
1963.
water.
Did you find that very hard to find record? Jesus has a boner.
Oh, Crispy's here. Remember,
No, he's got
Those
a
women-
Woody.
those women behind the meat locker, behind the freezer, went to the second location.
yeah,
Hanging at the
Hey, no,
CYO.
okay,
I'm-
Dr. Robert, I want to be Chance. Thanks for bringing this up because last I remember Dr. Robert talking, he said he had never been to this store.
I have
Dr.
not been in
Robert,
it.
when you
Yes.
have the effort, can you make it a mission to visit the store and
Sure.
come back here and give us a report?
And
So
do a video.
I've
Do
met
a
the guy.
video of it.
Sure, I will. I've met the guy who runs it, and he seems quite nice. And I've seen him at a number of record conventions out here. He sells at conventions as well as at his store. So, and of course, I've seen his videos. So, yeah.
I've been to his store twice, and I'm
Yes.
fine with it. The first time I didn't think much of it. The second time I thought it was a lot better. So,
Well, the first time you
Hey.
couldn't get in.
well, that
Hey,
okay. That's
Nick
3
Rideau,
times.
You're
then, right.
biased. You're biased.
Yeah, Nick.
Your opinion on this
The
subject.
first time I couldn't get in,
biased.
and I used my theatrical video making as a tool, as a storyline, and it
Cool.
worked.
Yeah.
And it pissed someone off. But I went back. I went with Michael, poetry, and we both had a good time. And I went. Who did I go with the next time? I forgot.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know.
by the way, can I do-
Kimbo. I think Kimbo. We went right, Kimbo.
I want to do my impression of me going into too many records, and this would be my comment after coming out. I went in, now I've come out. You know, there are really not too many records here. Thank you.
You know, you just made me I was beginning to think I should have just stayed in bed, Wax, but that was on. That was almost
Wait,
worth
wait, hold on 1 second. You're not still in bed?
Don't stand up, Doc. Do not stand up. This is a family show.
Okay, whatever.
Seriously,
So-
Doc, go to that store because I think that I'm not. There's a
I'm-
reason behind my feeling, but I don't care for that.
Yeah, you should go to it.
Whatever.
Dr. Robert, now that you're retired, do you do a lot of day drinking?
As he drinks during the day.
I like to
Did you-
have a
Oh,
beer
what?
at lunch, and then I don't drink again until 4 p.m. ish, something like that.
I went
What's
till
your
5.
what's your total number of drinks before you hit the hay?
Oh, it's usually not more than about 3 or 4. I think 4.
Oh,
I don't know. Is that too many?
Now, when you hit
You're
the
a
hay,
doctor.
hold on. When you hit the hay, does Barney lock you in the cell?
let me ask you this, Doc. As a doctor, when you have to fill out that thing when you have a physical, how many drinks do you have per week? And whatever you say, they always double it because they know you're fucking with them. No?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was never part of
I
my.
have 1 martini. That's it. Like
Never part of
maybe
my-
3 nights a week. And then I
Yeah.
have 2 glasses of wine 3 nights a week. That's what I
Okay.
do. I don't drink during the day unless I'm on vacation and it's a weekend.
What's the only day of the week not mentioned in Lady Madonna?
Monday.
Saturday.
That should have been on your stream yesterday. With
I know.
Hold on. Is it me? Is it me? Or does Mazzy defend himself against not being an alcoholic way too much to not be an alcoholic?
Yeah.
I listen, I'm not a big drinker, but I don't feel the need to tell everyone I'm not.
You know what happened on the stream yesterday? I think it was a stream. Someone in the comments said something about that to me. And actually, Rachel came out and said, I was with Mazzy for 3 days, and he's not an alcoholic. I know, or Sue said that.
Yeah.
I know alcoholic.
Actually, I'll come to your
You're good at hiding it.
I've been with Mazzy for long periods of time, and he's not a big drinker. He's
I've
like
been
that
with
naturally.
Mazzy.
Hold on. He's like that naturally. Harry, you're horrible at this.
I've been with Mazzy lots of times, and it's made me an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Well,
Mazzy makes me want to get dirty.
I can hardly drink beer. That's the thing. I'm not supposed to drink a lot of beer.
I just want everyone to know that Chance has spent some time with Matt.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I got to take
Completely different meeting. I went to that meeting, but I was just there.
I never said I'm not a sex addict or sex.
Mazzy went to the Sex Addicts Anonymous meeting, but he was just looking for the phone.
No. I mean, I
still remember the first time I had sex.
Yeah.
I was so afraid. I was all alone.
Rodney Dangerfield. And did you have your head stuck in a fence?
I told you those guys in the UK, when we went to pubs, for every half a beer I had, they had like 3 or 4 beers. 3 or 4 pints.
By the way,
I do this thing where I drink so fucking slow. I start off with a nice cold drink, and when I'm done, it's warm.
Well, that's the thing. If you have a martini, you don't guzzle a martini. You sip it for an hour or whatever.
It takes, my liver's got a process.
What happened?
Do you like sake?
I do like good sake.
I like sake.
Yeah, good.
What happened to Dr.
I like
Robert?
hot sake. I like hot.
Either way.
It depends.
Cold, that's really good cold though.
Hey, I would like to make this a regular segment. I have not heard any reports about the rivalry between Angelo Kelly and Art Garfunkel Jr.
That's going to be, we can't talk about it. It's going to be in Record Collector News in the July-August issue.
It's a mystery to us.
I'm concerned about Dr. Robert now that we're looking at the top of his bookshelf or whatever.
My father's 100. He has a
Harry, you might know this. Someone asked a question. I forgot his name. Who was question mark of the
I don't know.
I used to know that. I have that.
But everyone knew him as exclamation point.
Comma.
Everyone knew her as Nancy. It's never mind.
As the apostrophe, the crux of the biscuit.
I don't know. I think we can't call Dr. Robert or text him because I believe he's using his phone to stream. I don't know what's going on.
I think he's going to get another beer.
He's going to go put some Baileys in his coffee.
I think he's going to look for a dead squirrel.
Any news? Any news? Like let's talk about music news now. Anything?
No, somebody else died. Jill Sobule died.
Yeah.
I loved her
That
music.
was fire, apparently.
Yeah, what a way
Yeah,
to
I
go.
don't know about that.
How do you know about her?
No, I don't know
I've been a fan of hers for 20 years.
Well, that's new music for you.
The reports of the fire seem to be shrouded in something, I think.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's too bad. I don't know her.
I love her version of Robert Earl Keen's Merry Christmas from the Family.
Yeah, I don't know her very well.
Hey, Harry.
Yes, sir.
Robert Earl Keen's another. You would never guess in a million years that I like Robert Earl Keen, but he's a very underrated guy. And in fact, the reason I know about Robert Earl Keen is because I have family from Texas. My sister-in-law, he's a huge Robert Earl Keen fan, exposed me to him. He comes to LA to perform, but he's part of that genre of Texas music.
Yeah.
That's like Lyle Lovett, him.
See, I was really into that Texas scene for a decade or more. That's really all I listened to.
It's not country music. It's sort
No.
of like an alt rock kind of sound.
Remember
Americana.
Little Village? Little
Yeah.
Village.
You've
Yeah, they
got Guy Clark, who's one of the best. You've got Rodney Crowell. I mean, there's so many great
Yeah,
Texas.
but Robert Earl Keen writes really good songs.
Here's some
Yeah,
news.
I'm not a
That's some
fan of
news.
his voice so much. I mean, I've got some of his CDs, but
He's a better singer than Chris Christopherson.
I like Chris's first album a lot.
There's a new Yacht Rock Symphony tour that's happening, featuring Ambrosia.
Texas music, Dana Kimbowitz. Texas music is.
There is sort of a Texas genre, and there's an Austin sort of. I don't know.
No, it's that same thing. It's called Texas music. That's the genre.
So what is Little Village? You know the band Little Village?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that Texas?
No, and that wasn't very successful. That was basically the same band as the John Hyatt album, and which is the same people, Keltner and Nick Lowe and Ry Cooder and who else? I forgot.
That shit only came out on CD, I think. I don't know.
No, it came out on vinyl. It came out on vinyl, but it didn't. For some reason, it didn't capture the magic as the John Hyatt record, "Bring on the Family." But there was great live tour. It did one tour. It was great, but not the Village People, but the Little Village. It just wasn't. For some reason, it wasn't as good.
I'm going to answer Chris's question. He asked if I was a fan of Joe Ely. I was. I am. Joe's not doing too well, I don't think. But this is an autograph of all the Flatlanders who Joe Ely was a member of.
Cool.
You got Jimmy Dale Gilmore. You got Butch Hancock, Joe Ely.
Yeah.
Who else was in that?
You know what's good that came out last year you would like is what's the guy there? Jimmy Dale and Dave Alvin album.
They've done a few things together.
Yeah, that's a good album. So Tom art directed the Little Village album. Interesting.
Yeah, I just love their whole Texas songwriter stuff.
Kinky.
Ray Wiley Hubbard. I've seen him a few times.
The new
He's
Kinky,
a fun guy.
the new last Kinky Friedman album is very good.
Autographed.
Nice.
Hey, Jim, fuck him and feed him Fruit Loops. Kinky. He spoke at the Association of Alternative Newspaper Convention in New Orleans. No, was it New Orleans? I don't know where it was. Might have been Texas.
Huh.
In 00. I think it was Arizona.
Hey, did they announce the next reserve titles yet, Mazzy?
The what?
Rhino Reserve.
Steve Earle.
Yeah, the reserve. You know about the reserve. The reserve of the Baby Huey and the.
Oh, wait, okay.
The High Fidelity, you mean?
Are they announcing new Rhino
High Fidelities?
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. Steve Westman knows, and I don't know when they're being announced. I don't know what they are. I would tell you, I wouldn't tell what they are, but I don't know what they are. They did announce those 3 reserve, which they're for pre-sale. Baby Huey. What else? I forgot what else.
Is Blue Note putting stuff out?
Yeah,
regularly.
They put out stuff every month.
How any Tone Poets?
I do. I did just get the new OJCs, Moonbeams by Bill Evans, and a Monk record are coming out next month by OJCs. And more in a couple weeks, more Bluesville.
Was it a Faces as a reserve title?
That was a few months ago.
All right, Harry, calm down.
Ooh la la, huh? Ooh la la's great.
When Harry gets bored, he likes to strum his instrument.
Well, somebody mentioned Ooh La La, so I thought I'd strum a little bit of it.
Okay. No one mentioned it enough for you to strum.
I just saw that Steve Earle's Copperhead Road, and I think it was in a Ford commercial. I'm like, really?
Yes.
Hold on.
Yeah, where'd he go?
Where's Dr. Robert?
I have no opinion on that crispy treat.
Courtney Love is, I don't know.
He they had a fucked up relationship. He was a depressed dude. That's my opinion.
It could have, I don't know, but my guess was I don't think she would intentionally kill him, but it could have been an accident playing with the gun. Who knows? I don't know. And we'll
Yeah,
probably
Whoever
never-
that was in the
I heard
commercial.
she accidentally tied the rope around his neck. It was an accident.
But it was a slip knot.
They were playing.
Hold on. What's this? Let me click on this link, Scotty. Let me look at that. Hold on. I have to go to regular YouTube to click on the link.
She had a motive, money. Well, she's his wife, so she gets half anyway. So I don't know.
Hold on. This is interesting.
What?
Okay, Scotty shared a link. I'm going to share it right now. Let me put it in the this other thing here.
Nobody's even mentioning that we've lost Dr. Robert.
Yeah, I texted and I don't know what happened to him. Hold on.
Maybe the dog ate a
Wow.
gopher and
Okay, so there's an unreleased Shaka Khan Prince and Larry Graham record
Oh,
coming
that
up.
could be fun.
when was that recorded? Like in the 80s?
I don't know, but I was under the impression like every like Zappa and all the other people that had vaults of their stuff, there's a ton of Prince unreleased material, right? That was
Oh,
the
yeah,
impression I was
yeah.
under.
Yeah.
So I would have to assume that's part of clearing out that and making as much money as you can from his estate.
Well, the Prince expanded things have been excellent. I mean, because his outtakes are final finished pieces. It's not just cut up stuff. Very much like Dylan, you know.
Larry Graham, I forget what group Larry Graham originally was in. He was
He was in the Graham Crackers.
No, he had a band called Grand Central
Grand
Station.
Central Station, but
But
wasn't
what
he,
band was he originally
he was
in?
Sly
Scott?
Stone? Wasn't he Sly Stone's bass player? Am I wrong?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Hold
Sly
on.
Stone.
Breaking news from Sweden. Breaking news. Art Garfunkel Jr. He composed with Angelo Kelly living
Yeah,
in Germany
Sly
last
Stone.
15 years.
Yeah. He's Sly Stone's bass player.
Wow.
Didn't you watch the Sly Stone biography documentary? It's pretty good.
And he's all over the We Got the Funk too.
He was
Yeah.
in Sly's band.
His
Okay.
records on Warner Brothers are great. The one
The
with the
Graham
mirror
Central
cover.
Station record.
Yeah.
Is Sly still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't he
He was like
homeless
the
for a
first
while?
guy-
Yeah, he's not doing well.
Mm.
That guy was the first guy to really slap the shit out of the bass, right?
Yeah.
With his thumb. Bow.
I mean, Sly and the Family Stone were a very influential band. They influenced Prince and so many funk bands and all the bands 70s, 80s, and beyond. I mean, they were the guy. Miles Davis he influenced. Helped Miles Davis do like the whole
Old
Bitches Brew.
Brummels.
Well, he produced, yeah.
Well, that's a big influence.
Well, yeah.
Fluffy, 4 of them are on screen right now. And one's off
He was a
screen. I don't know
DJ
what's
for a while. I mean, he's
Yeah.
done it all.
Sly. Ugh.
All right.
George Clinton sure does look good though these days. Angelo, I would like to see them arm wrestle, or Angelo and Garfunkel Jr.
I would think Angelo Kelly could take our Garfunkel Jr. in a fight.
It depends on
See,
if
the
it's
problem
right.
is Angelo cut his hair and he's lost all his strength now.
Oh,
I agree
shit.
with you, Herc. I think that it would be the result.
Yeah. What did Zappa say about who? Don't repeat it, Stephen.
About Sly
That's probably
Stone?
what Zappa said about Sly.
Oh, Sly?
As much as I'd like, the problem with Beau Brummels being a Rhino hi-fi wouldn't sell.
No. Well, Bradley's Barn might.
But they've
already done a.
Run Out Groove did the Bradley Barn expanded one, and it's great. I mean, they could just repress that as is, because that's their best sounding record.
Yeah, listen. Anyone talking about the Bull Brummels is they have one song, right? And that's
No,
I
what-
can't believe Even
Yeah,
someone
more
like
than
the Bo
one.
Brummels couldn't sell like 3,000 records, and I don't think they could.
No,
Because of the label. They were on a shitty label.
well, early on they're on Autumn, but the
Where'd you
problem
see
is,
Weasels at?
you know, they're the perfect band that Cherry Red in the UK does these CD sets with, because there's a Cherry Red or whatever Grapefruit UK CD box of all the Bo Brummel stuff, and it's like 3 CDs or 4 CDs, and it's excellent. That is the CD is the perfect format for stuff like that. All those boxes they put out.
Hey, Vance, did he play all Zappa songs? I thought he can't
I'm
do
sure
that.
it was in Chicago.
No, he can.
He can't promote himself playing Zappa.
Well, he did used to call his show Zappa Plays Zappa.
Yeah.
And his brother made him stop doing that for a while.
That's ridiculous.
That's sort of that's still stupid.
Yeah, it was such a great fight, man. I'll tell you.
That's
Yeah, of course.
times like that. I'm thankful I'm an only child when I hear these kind of shit.
If to me, it's my favorite soap opera. The mother Gail was just really a monster. She set it up in such a way that the kids would be at each other's throats.
That's bullshit. Yeah.
Hey, Crispy Treat, with all your questions, I think you're on the wrong stream.
Chicago's
There's only
still
like
around.
3 people still in the band.
Yeah, but they're become like a middle of the road hits band. I tell you, after their third album,
they call them legacy acts, Bazzy. They're called legacy acts.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'll tell you once, when I used to wait tables in LA, I would wait on lots of people. One time, I forget his exact name, but the saxophone player from Chicago, Walter.
Nice.
I don't know if it's Walter or whatever. He said to me, he told me he remembered every show they ever played. Distinctly remembers every show. That's pretty impressive. And no one knows this. Is it the trombone player for Chicago? Is one of the music driving forces?
Jimmy
of the band.
Pankow.
He's one of the main guys.
Yeah,
Walter. Yeah, I waited. He was very nice. Okay. Walter was very nice. I think he left the band for health reasons.
Pankow's the writer of a lot of stuff, though. Not
Robert Lamb. Is it Robert Lamb?
No, Robert Lamb is
the
keyboardist who sang. Who was the second singer?
And what's the main singer?
Is it Peter Cetera?
Peter
Cetera.
No,
you got Lee Loughnane, Peter Cetera.
The guitar player blew himself up.
Terry Kath.
Terry Kath. Yeah, there's 7 of them initially.
You know, but the first three Chicago albums are fabulous. Then they got MOR after about that.
I like them all the way up to Chicago 7. Although the live album I'm not crazy about, but the other 6 albums.
The first album is like a perfect record. The '68 album.
Listen, when they had their '80s resurgence, they were perfectly good.
Yeah, Bill Champlin.
Okay, first couple of Chicago's or what was the other band?
Son of Champlin, Chase?
No, the big band. Oh shit.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears?
Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
The first Blood, Sweat, and Tears is the best, in my opinion.
Hey, watch the documentary that my friend Omnivore put out the soundtrack. I said that.
Oh yeah, interesting.
I agree, Kimbo.
Jeff was the son of one of Elvis's guitar players, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. I had a chiropractor that was Blood, Sweat, and Tears trombone player on the first record, and then he developed Bell's palsy, and his lip never came back, and he couldn't play anymore. So he became a chiropractor.
Yes, Dave, it is.
He couldn't use his mouth to chiropract.
He couldn't use his mouth to bone the trom. I'm sorry.
Wow, Tom, that's pretty cool.
Well, Tom, you're old.
Wow. I saw Simon and Garfunkel at the Hollywood Bowl. It was either the week after or the day after Hendrix lit his guitar on fire at the Hollywood Bowl.
I know the answer to this one. Hold on. I'm sorry, Steven. Let me fix you. I know I was trying to highlight something.
Why did you kill Steven?
By accident.
He's day drinking again.
Wow.
All right.
You like
I
that
want
white wine.
Here, someone mentioned something, and I know the answer to this. So someone said Hendrix wanted to play with the orchestra. Well, Hendrix was supposed to play. What happened, Dr. Robert? It looked like you fell and couldn't get up.
Well, I actually had a phone call that I had to attend to. So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So the answer is Hendrix, before he died, was supposed to record an album with Lee Evans. So they were with an orchestra. That album ended up being Lee Evans plays Hendrix, but that was supposed to be an album with Jimi Hendrix.
Can we have a Dr. Robert coffee minute?
Hey, Steven, can you make a comment? I put you back in the right.
Is that a little kitty?
Gil
mug?
Evans. I'm sorry, Gil Evans.
This
Not
is
Gil Revens.
so. This is
The
you can
kitty
see
mug.
it. It's a cat made to look like Frida Kahlo.
Yes, I can
Yes.
see that. Yes.
That's a famous
Frida
painting.
cats. Frida
That should
cats.
be your next. That should be your next.
I'm not
thumbnail.
making you beg to
Frida
show
people.
pussy bugs.
Frida Kahlo had a bad back. She had failed back surgery. She
The
depicted
casinos.
in some of her paintings.
Go and say goodbye. Is that the what song was their big hit for the casinos?
Did they have a big hit?
Yeah. Go and say goodbye or something. Come on, Wyoming Dave, you know. Then you can tell me goodbye. Great song.
Interesting.
Kiss
Hey,
me
Doc-
in the morning.
No. Dr. Robert, did you pick up any new albums that you destroyed with a sticker on the front of them?
Well, of course, I've got a few here. I've been trying to not buy many because I've been catching up with the cleaning and storing, but and that's actually going quite well. Let me see.
Come on up Saturday and go to the show.
Where's that going to be?
Seattle.
Oh, is that
And also West Seattle is having a big community garage sale type thing all around the Easy Street area where they actually shut the roads down. And
That's Sunday, right?
What show is
10th.
this?
I think it's Saturday.
What show is this?
Shoreline Record Show in Seattle.
Oh.
Yeah, I won't be up this Saturday. It's Mother's Day. Our son's coming down, and so. But I would love to otherwise. But here's one that I was.
Wait, hold on a second, Dr. Robert. You're resorting to just taking blank covers and writing names on them now.
Well, it's a test pressing, knucklehead.
Okay.
And this is the one that she does a bunch of covers of Randy Newman songs. We were talking about him the other day, and as I listened to this the other day, it really did give me a new appreciation of his skills. So as a songwriter, it's got "Leave Your Hat On," which is kind of a joke one, but then "Sail Away," and what's the other one? God's Song. God's Song is a great kind of satire. So that's one I've had for a little bit, and I wanted to show this for you, Waxed. This is actually a really good record, and it's got Gap Mangione and Chuck Mangione, and it's not. I kind of think of Chuck Mangione as kind of schmaltzy stuff by the time he
Smooth jazz.
famous. Yeah, this is not that. This is
No. I forget who he grew up with, so to speak. I think they were from Cleveland or Cincinnati, but they grew up with a very prominent jazz musician. And yes, when they had their band together, that's like jazz, but not be well before he started playing smooth kind of pop jazz.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's much more kind of I don't know if I'd call it bop, but it's aggressive jazz. Yeah. And this is one I got, and I was going to give this for Jim. Jim's off the picture. Maybe I'll wait till he gets back.
He's there.
Oh,
yes.
well,
He's
this has
straightening
got
out
a
the
small
sack.
warp twink with Plastic Land. He's a great singer. This is a live record, and Plastic Land is a great backing band, very aggressive.
Dr. Robert,
rock and
you
roll.
need to put the vinyl in so the label's the right way up, though, when you look at the back. I always make sure I do that.
Oh, my God.
Well, listen, Dr. Robert needs to do a lot of things when he shows a record.
I should make a video tutorial for Dr. Robert.
I'll give one more.
Actually,
more.
you need to take him to a facility with help.
That
Ron on the
This-
tracks.
that is an excellent record.
It is great. And
She's married to Robin Hitchcock.
Is she really? So I didn't look her up. The other thing about this that really I thought was interesting.
She's opening for Rob. She's opening for Robin, and she does all these. She did that during the pandemic, and all these great versions of Dylan songs. But she has one of them from that last album, the Murder Most Foul album. That one,
Yeah,
and it's great, really great.
that song is not on this record.
No, not Murder Most Foul. The song is. Hold on, hold it up.
It have to be a double album.
Hold the back up. No, the back.
So
I Contain Multitudes is from that album.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I thought about when I bought this. I thought this was going to be. I didn't look that closely, and I thought it might be a cover of the entire Blood on the Tracks album, but it's not.
No, it's not.
It's just all Dylan songs from.
Maybe they're not married. They live together. They tour together. I assume they have sex together. Maybe. I
We're all
would.
together.
I would if I was him.
Are they as scared as Harry?
Oh boy.
Hey, Dr. Robert, do you have Bailey's Irish Cream in that mug?
For fuck's sake, guys! You know,
You can't get offended
Hey,
on.
It was a yes or no question, to be fair.
Nick, either today or tomorrow, I'll have like a preview of some of the auction. I'm doing a Whatnot 1:00 Saturday, so it won't have everything in the video, but I will have something. But you can go to my Whatnot and see the ones I've loaded up already. I think there are about 15 so far. I'm going to load up more today and tomorrow because you can preload it and see. You can pre-bid even.
Hey,
Are there
I
any
have no
Beatles?
interest in seeing one of Mazzy's loads.
yeah.
Any Beatles, Mazzy?
Yes.
Really? Yes,
Pro-
too.
What?
Yes, also.
Second
No,
base.
yes. No, yes. There's a couple Rush albums.
Which
There is?
Beatle albums?
Well, okay. I have some. Okay, here's the interesting. I have some sealed copies of the 2009 stereo reissues that have a little sticker. I got them from Capitol that says promo copy, and they're sealed in the shrink. One is not. One is unsealed, but they're the stereo ones. But a guy I knew at Capitol sent me all the individual ones, but I had the stereo box, so I don't really need them, and I've been keeping them all these years.
Those are all digital.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the thing is to keep it in with the promo sticker on it for a collector, you know. And we'll and some Rolling Stones, the 2010 Rolling Stones box sets before the vinyl craze happened, the big Atco one and the Rolling Stones record one. I just have so many copies of no, not 2012 sticker. What are you talking about? Oh, 2012. Is that the?
Hey,
That's the.
hey, Mazzy, could you try and be more youthful and share a link to your Whatnot in the chat?
Sure.
There you go. That will help everyone.
I'm pretty sure those promo copies, most of them say not for sale.
Here's one more for Jim.
Well, I've kept
Nice.
them for
Great record.
18 years.
No one else look at this record but Jim.
This is it was digitally remastered. It's a UK pressing, and I'd never seen it before, but I went ahead and picked that up. I have another copy from the US press, but
So that's got that was I
it's
think
got Disco Boy on it, doesn't it?
what's his name? Grant's Rock Warehouse did a thing on that yesterday, on that record yesterday.
Oh,
It was
really?
Very good.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, they did like a live.
It's a big album.
Well, it's a double album.
I think it was like gold or something in Europe. It's got Bobby Brown on it.
Yeah, it's got Bobby Brown. It's got Jewish Princess. I thought it had Disco
Bobby Brown
Boy.
was a hit. Bobby Brown was a disco hit in Germany and Sweden. They had no idea what the lyrics meant, and it was like this big hit, huge hit.
Interesting.
All right, everyone, here's a
Okay.
link for Mazzy's Whatnot this Saturday.
You got to pre-register and whatnot, but then it's an easy way to buy. you know, it's easy for me too, and it's
But I think you can sign up on your link and then get like $10 off the
yeah. I
first
think
purchase.
when you first get on, you get a $15 credit or something.
Yeah.
The
Also,
first time.
from what I understand, without having any verification, each person who buys a record from Azzy gets a lock of his hair.
Did anyone notice this past week? I'm first in 7 years clean shaven.
Well, you were talking
Oh,
about
wait,
it.
hold on. Let's look at this.
It's a lot of work.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I shaved 2 days ago, so I'm getting stubble now.
When
But
Mazzy's clean shaven, he looks a lot like every male Karen video I see on TikTok.
I look 3 months younger.
I got a little snowball action here.
Yeah, I just, you know, of course, at our age, it grows out gray and white.
I'm
so,
starting to get some gray, I've noticed.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So you had an idea of the heapster. You had an idea of the lyrics, but the song was good for dancing. Yeah, but it was very, very perverted.
It's funny that they used to tout digitally remastered.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Frank used to tout this was recorded on digital tape, and then the digital tape.
well, that's different too. There are, you know, not
There
all
was a digital tape.
Not all digital is equal. Not all digital is equal.
What was the Ry Cooder album that was the first digitally mastered?
Bop to drop. That was DDD.
Yeah, exactly. And they advertised the hell out of that too.
Yeah. That was considered the first rock digital album. Who knows if it actually is, but it's one of them. Yeah.
Right there.
Was that a cat?
That's a dat. I used to record a lot of concerts. This was a friend of mine had a cover band for U2. They were awesome. Awesome band. Did a great cover of them.
Again, Harry,
I have over 100 shows I've recorded on DAT.
On DAT?
Yeah.
Do you have a player?
Yeah, I've got a Fostex player right down in the bottom there.
Hey, my favorite video on Harry's Music Room's channel is that part where he went to a Doobie Brothers concert and he jumped up and down. The recorder fell out of his jacket.
We almost got caught one time recording because we always did it stealth, you know. And we were sitting in the front row of the Moore Theater in the balcony. My friend, my wife, and I were all sitting there. My wife's got the gear going. She's got the microphones up on behind her hair.
Oh God!
And this guy walks by and he just stops right in front of us. He goes, "Are you recording?" And all three of us went, "No." And he just walked away and left us alone.
My first time, I think I only recorded one or two. It was the Cow Palace George Harrison 74 show. And I had a little cassette player in my pocket and I recorded. I remember for a week or two, I'd listen to that in the car. I just loved it.
Cow
Even
Palace
though
was a terrible place.
Yeah,
I saw Eric Clapton at the Cow Palace. I think like 70.
I saw Allman Brothers New Year's Eve there. I think
I found that recording online, Mazzy, and there's a lot of commentary from you going, man, I have to go to the bathroom.
That was a pretty terrible
venue. I saw Kiss at the Cow Palace. I saw Bowie at the Cow Palace. I saw Elvis Presley at the Cow Palace. But yeah, I didn't go to a lot of shows. Winterland was the place.
Now, here's a story about a show that we recorded. There was a group of us across the U.S., and we invested in-ear monitor receivers so that we could pick up the signal from the band's in-ear monitors. And there was like 3 different ones that we had, and people would, like, we went to the MGM Grand show in Vegas of Springsteen, and we recorded one section of the in-ear monitor. A couple other people recorded the others. Then they mixed them together to get, kind of a soundboard. But what we did is, after the show, we would overnight the gear to another person in another town, and then he would go, or they would go to the next Springsteen show and use the same gear recording. And we did a whole, 10, 15 shows using this equipment. So, and a lot of those ended up on bootleg CDs.
Wow. What a fucking criminal.
Oh, when people get serious about recording shows. I did one Grateful Dead show where I went in the taper section, which was fun.
Yeah, I was going to say you could always do it there. It was allowed.
Yeah, but you had to buy a ticket for the taper section.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
The Who
Hold
are
on.
having haven't the Who have like 10 farewell tours?
They've had 27 farewell tours.
Exactly. Like Elton John is like at the top of the Sinatra.
Hey,
used to do
I heard the new thing that the Who's doing on this tour is on each show they're firing the drummer,
Yeah, each show they fire Zach.
and then they'll hire him back for the next show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little kerfluffle, wasn't it?
It seems to me like what's his name is a little fussy.
He's like,
Yeah.
he's like 82, right now.
Cranky.
I love
When is
Right?
it enough?
People put their phones on vibrate or mute or something. Dr. Robert.
You know, the Berkeley Community Theater was a great venue for music. I saw Springsteen there and Neil Young and Cat Stevens, Elton John. It's just a great venue.
I saw Springsteen there.
Led Zeppelin played there. I didn't see that show though. That would have been the place to see Led Zeppelin because it's a sit-down theater and it's a really dead, dry sound, and it's a great theater. I would have loved to have seen that Zeppelin show. Or the Fillmore West show, obviously. The 68, 69?
Oakenfield, you can't share that picture? What good are you to us?
Frank Zappa, Pauley Pavilion, 1972.
How many times did you see Zappa, Jim?
I'm not really sure.
Hmm.
You know,
It was
20, maybe more.
Did Roger Daltrey complained when Kenny Jones was playing with the Who for a while.
What a mess that was. Fire Zach and then hire him back and just these.
Yeah.
And his monitor was fucked up and he blamed
It's
it on.
time to hang it up anyway, you know.
Exactly.
It is.
Come on.
They're even half a Who. They're like a, Dr. Seuss book.
Hey, can you
What's
put
his
this
name?
on your tasty treat? Your
Wasn't
crispy
it out of
treat?
Ohio, Cincinnati?
Can you put this on your business card?
In Cincinnati.
Yeah. I was at the Who
I was
when,
at a Deep
when
Purple
Keith Moon
concert.
passed out. I was at that Cow Palace show.
Oh, that must
I'll
have been
tell you
good.
I
a show.
passed out at a concert.
There was
Really?
there was a show I was at a U2 concert. I think it was Unforgivable Fire, where Bono coerced the crowd, at least the people on the floor, to rush the stage, and they did.
Oh.
And somehow the tour manager took the fall for it and got arrested.
Who plays? I'm asking the Peanut Gallery. Who's playing drums with the Oasis on tour now? I have no idea. I don't follow that.
Apparently, Zach Starkey is.
No,
Uh-huh.
he used to. He did tour with them. That's why I asked. But he's not touring with them anymore.
B-52s I saw. That must have been.
My friend got me a ticket for the Herbie Hancock show at the Hollywood Bowl this summer.
Hey, Nicole, did you finally listen to the new Bitches Brew? How is it? I have the last one they did, not the non one step. I'm curious. And have you compared it to the non one step? So the only difference would be the pressing plant, and that the new one is a one step, since the vinyl is probably equivalent.
I was
It's made
never a
with-
Daltrey fan.
It's made
either.
with recyclable vinyl.
No, it's not. Don't start rumors.
Scotty, did you know that Dan Byrne opened for Roger Daltrey on his solo tour?
None of us knew that.
Yeah, hey Harry, next Tuesday.
I like to interact with the Peanut Gallery though and answer their questions.
Hold on,
and
Harry.
Make comments.
Harry, next Tuesday,
Yes, he
can
did.
we do a Dan Byrne trivia contest? Me versus you. And this is going to be my reaction to the whole thing. How did I not know that?
What was Dan? What Dan Byrne changed his name for a tour? What was the
That's
name
funny,
that he
Rob.
changed it
I'm
to?
sorry. Sorry. That's the funniest thing you said this year.
I didn't hear him because I was talking. What did you say?
Well, it's not the kind of joke that you can say again and make it funny in the moment. And it was his
Ready to be there?
and his expression. I thought that was good. Sorry.
You got a little Bailey's going there.
The first
Lizzie?
question of the trivia is who's Dan Byrne?
Here's going to be how I react to each question. That's going to be my answer. Who is Dan Byrne for 3,000, Alex?
Oh.
Okay, it's almost 9 o'clock. It's time for the first one of the day.
Wait, seriously?
What is that?
You know, they're putting prune juice in the fanciest of
You're
cans.
not one of those guys that keeps empty beer bottles and cans up on the shelf, are you?
Make
Yeah.
me big. Make me big.
Make them big,
How many
Rob.
people have had beer can collections?
I've got Iron Maiden cans up there. I've got,
I hate that. I think that's the tackiest fucking thing. Sorry, Harry. You got a great room there, except for that.
I got a Zappa one. Why does it hurt when IPA?
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Clever name.
Why does it hurt when IPA?
Yeah.
Zappa on the toilet.
IP Daily.
And out of all the Americans here, PB Thal has the best beer taste, the best taste in beer. I should say.
That's
There you go, Marty. That's on vinyl. This is on vinyl. So far, just 2.
Doesn't Neil Young have a song? Has everyone been burned? What's that song he has?
Burned
with both feet on the ground.
ground.
Right. Oh, nice.
Yeah, American beer is pretty well. Actually, there are a lot of good brew pubs and breweries in America.
Well,
now.
hold on one second. Hold on. Because I used to drink beer a lot before I couldn't anymore. Where are you from? Because I challenge any crap that comes out of the UK against a good American microbrew.
Well, there's a lot of, the Portland area especially has some of the best.
Portland, Seattle,
the Bay Area.
It started in the Bay Area.
Best beer I've ever had is
Anchor
that shit.
Pennsylvania. There's so many
was
good
always
micro-
independent, but there was that Triple Rock in Berkeley. Originally, it was Rolling Rock, but they had to change the name because of the beer in the East Coast. That was the first brew pub I've ever was ever aware of, and a lot of the people that worked in it migrated into Oregon and created breweries up here.
I don't know if they make Anchor Steam anymore, but I thought they closed down. But
they closed down.
If anyone's never had Dogfish Head from Delaware, you're missing out on good.
Supposedly, Anchor someone was buying it and going to rebring it, revitalize it, which is a shame that it's not around anymore.
Yeah, that would be nice to have it.
I
always liked that. Yeah.
About a mile from my house. That brewery.
Hey, we're talking about beer, not.
What are all these bottles?
There's a Dylan. Actually, that's pretty good whiskey. That's not bad.
Yeah, I like
actually, that's not whiskey. Harry
bourbon.
just doesn't like to get up and leave his chair to go to the bathroom.
That's whiskey.
It's bourbon.
This is number 244. Numbered bottles.
Great.
Kaplan.
Yeah, but PB Thal, your favorite beer is a Belgian beer made in Canada.
Kaplan's Family Thanksgiving 2024.
Oh, that's cool.
Beer. Yeah, one of my son-in-law made this.
I like.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was good too. Saved one.
Well, Wax, do you want to hear my surgical dream from last night?
Oh God.
Why don't you save it for? Hold on, Dr. Robert. Why don't you save it for tomorrow's live stream?
Well, there's no live stream tomorrow.
This is a good local.
Shut up, Harry.
This is a good. This is a good local. It's a Washington State bourbon whiskey. That Woodinville. There's also Woodville from Kentucky.
Have you ever been to their concerts at Chateau?
No, I haven't, and I hear it's a good venue. But this is actually they also have a rye, which is excellent. Yeah, this is good. Washington State. I mean, I tell you, Melinda Murphy once sent me a bottle of Blanton's, which was fucking great. That was really generous of her. Blanton's.
This is a local. This is a local. Oh, sorry, never mind.
You know, the price of beer is going up because of tariffs, because of the aluminum.
Wow.
Yeah, I suppose that's
wow.
true.
Wow. Well, I bought Avos at Costco. Seemed to go up like $2-3 for a bag.
The Firestone Walker, which is a California beer, there was a period about less than 10 years ago when all the big brewer people bought up all these great microbreweries. But
Right.
Firestone Walker in California, that's a good beer. They
You
make
heard-
that.
They have they've
That-
got a nice restaurant in San Luis Obispo.
They
Yeah,
have
you
one
heard
in,
that
it's in Venice
Barbies are
too.
going.
They have one in
In
Venice.
Venice.
Never mind.
Yeah, go to Firestone.
There was a brew pub here that like they were around for a couple of years and then they got bought. They were very good, and they even had vinyl events. You know,
What's that? Is Kimbo still watching? There's a good whiskey brewery that got all these top awards in the last few years. They're in Soto, literally across the street, I think, from Silver Platters. And I haven't been to their tasting room. I kind of want to go. I have to be in the mood.
and then there, Yummies, which that's not really brew pub, but it is local.
Oh no, what has Harry got there? Weed? Oh, gummies.
You guys,
It's not
Nice.
gummies.
okay.
What is it? Bud?
Yeah, no, they're pre-rolls.
Oh, very nice. There you go. Thither you gither.
Well, we've hit the golden hour, people.
Finally.
And when I say golden hour, it's an
is
opportunity
it?
to Harry to go to the bathroom because he's been drinking beer all morning.
Can I go to the bathroom, please? May I?
Macallan 12 is a good one too. Yeah.
All right, everyone, have a great weekend. Go to Mazzy's Whatnot on Saturday.
1 p.m. Pacific, 1 whatnot.
Yeah.
There will be a video by tomorrow, kind of a preview. Not everything, but you can see I still have to populate more records. There's only about 15 or 16 there. It'll probably be an hour and a half tops. It's not one of
Question.
these. Yeah.
Question for Patrick before we leave. When is your next live stream?
He said he's going on Westman's tonight.
All right, go watch Steve Westman's tonight and Chance's tonight and who
Golden
else?
shower hour.
Yes, go to the Golden Shower Hour and see Chance lay
Do
down
we
the
get
law.
to get tied up to the Tower of Power?
Yes. All right, everyone have a wonderful day. Okay?
Yeah, you too, Rob.
Hey, Rob, did you buy
Whoops.
Actually, I know the rest of Mazzy was going to ask me, did I order those adult diapers for him? Yes, Mazzy, I did. Because he can't get up during that stream. All right, everyone, have a nice day. Bye.
Happy
Bye.
trails,
Cheers, guys.
everybody.